Hello, Little Falls Community Middle School. I am here to tell you a little bit about my eclipse trip. It went really, really well in Indiana. I hear that it wasn't so nice here, huh? It's a really big bummer. In Indiana, the skies were really clear. Actually, the night before, I woke up about every 3 hours to check the weather because we were prepared to drive east or west to get the most favorable conditions. But it turned out for the second time in my life that where I was the perfect spot. So I was very, very fortunate. We ended up going down to the Indianapolis state capitol, and their government campus in Indianapolis is a really large, beautiful area with a big green space in the middle, a large park right in the middle of it. And so there were thousands and thousands of people there, music and food trucks, and it was a big festival, one of 11 that Indianapolis had. So they estimated that about 1 million people came into that town during the day on the 8th. So it was good that we were able to just take some public transportation down to the park, and we didn't need to get on any of the freeways. I guess it was pretty clogged out there. A lot of people in the more southern states ran into cloudy weather, and so a lot of people traveled north up to Illinois and Indiana to get better viewing. So it was a very busy city that day. Um, Around the whole campus on all of the green space, I saw a lot of people with their home telescopes out. In order to use a home telescope on an eclipse, you have to have a special solar filter. So there was a lot of solar filters out, and people were just kind of taking in, doing time lapse um, photographs of the entire experience from the beginning through totality and into the end. Here's just another view of the crowd. Here's the state capitol right here in the skyline. It was just perfect conditions. You can see that there's some really high cirrus clouds here, but they did not get in the way of our view at all. They were so thin that it was very, very easy to view the eclipse through them. Here's a picture of my cousin and her adorable little girl checking out the partial eclipse while we were waiting for totality. In Indiana, I think they're an hour ahead. Yeah, 1 hour ahead in time zone. So we got there right around noon, which was early before anything happened. And so we were able to see the whole eclipse from first contact to the very last part of the sun being eclipsed. Going to pause this real quick. This is the reaction of the crowd. Okay, so you can see that it got a lot darker, right? This is the middle of the day. During that time, the stars did come out. There was a 360-degree sunset. You could see a couple of the planets. Down in Indiana, the climate is a little warmer, so a lot of our summertime animals and critters are around and out and about already down there. So the crickets started chirping, frogs started singing a little bit when totality happened. When totality ended, the birds started to chirp. The temperature dropped about 10 degrees during totality. The wind picked up really abruptly just because there was such a dramatic change in temperature that, that's what creates wind, is air moving due to temperature and pressure differences. So because I had seen totality before and we had 4 full minutes of totality here, at the moment that people got to take off their glasses, I just spent a little bit of time looking around and getting everybody's reaction. You hear a lot of just yelling and oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's just a really surreal experience to see this big dark hole in the sky and the solar corona coming out from all areas. There was actually a solar prominence or a flare coming off the bottom as well that you could see really, really well. You'll also see a lot of people with their cell phones pointed up at the sky. Unfortunately for them, they'll get home and realize that it doesn't really, cell phones really don't pick it up. because that solar corona, even though the whole sun is covered, the solar corona is so bright that it makes it through a cell phone, it makes it look like the sun is still shining. And you'll see it when I pan over the total solar eclipse. You don't get to see that dark spot in the middle. Okay, so that was their reaction. And then I took another video of just, after that initial reaction of just totality. And you can see how dark it is in the middle of the day. You can hear my voice in the background having a conversation with my cousin about where Venus and Jupiter is. And we're checking out the stars. You can see a star in the sky right here too. You'll notice also that the lights came on in the park. They're automatic lights. When the sun goes down, the lights come on. So all of that was pretty neat.
Where's the comet and Venus and Mars? Just be able to see all that, right?
Yeah. Right. Do you see right over there?
Wait, no, sorry, that's Jupiter.
Jupiter, Venus.
360?
And then, oh, there's a picture of my adorable cousin. Here's a picture of my mom and a dear friend of mine. My mom had seen an eclipse before. She was at the 2017 one with me, but her best friend, our dear friend Linda, hadn't. And as you can see here, she was brought to tears by the spectacle of it. It's just really a breathtaking sight. And I would really encourage all of you in 2044 and in 2045 to not just hang out in Minnesota and watch the partial, but if you can, do yourself a favor and travel to totality. Because the only time I think the next time that totality is going to come over Little Falls, it's going to be 2099. So best to go out there and see it now. And then the last video I took was of when the sun was just leaving, or the moon was just leaving the sun. It just started to come out. I kind of panned back to the crowd to see if I could pick up how the light changes. There's just a sliver of the sun showing, but it's so bright. The sun is so powerful that one sliver illuminates everything. And then you have to put your glasses back on at that point. This is a picture I took of just the shadows. It's kind of hard to tell in this picture, but when the moon eclipses the sun and there's just a sliver of the sun showing, all of the spaces in between these leaves on the trees turns into a little crescent. You can kind of see it down here. It kind of becomes blurry because obviously there was a little bit of wind and the leaves are moving, and so it kind of got blurred. But there's all of these little C's down here. Anything small puts off this little crescent-shaped shadow. It was really neat. And a couple more cute pictures of my cousins. And a selfie of a bunch of my family members here hanging out, eating ice cream and taking in the sights. It was an amazing experience. Really, really glad. I'm really grateful that I was able to be in Indianapolis with my family and friends on such a beautiful day to see this. And like I said, do yourself a favor and get to the path of totality at some point in your life. Thank you very much for watching.